Hello, my kings and queens. Welcome back to my channel. So, as you can tell by the title, today is all about moisturizers for oily skin. And boy, was I wrong on this journey. I went through years of trying to figure out this whole oily skin thing, but I came up with the top 3 moisturizers that are good for oily skin. So, if you're interested, just keep watching. All right, so some backstory. I have excessive oils and it didn't start affecting me. I've been wearing makeup for years, like probably since I was about 18, 19. I went full throttle. I was just like, you know. But as I got older, I started looking into it and I started watching YouTube a lot more and I just got interested. And then here I am today. So at 26, I realized that my skin is oily. And when I say oily, I mean greasy like a frying pot. Like it's just everything right here was just, and then it was so embarrassing because I felt like when I'm talking to people, they're they're looking at it. I feel like they're looking at it and they're not really focusing on what I'm trying to tell them. And then I had incidents where people didn't tell me that my face was greasy and I had to go to the bathroom after the conversation and all I see is oils. That's it. And I just felt so embarrassed. So, anyways, I wanted to get rid of the oils. So, what I thought in my head that made sense at the time was to not wear any moisturizers because if I'm producing this much oil, the oil's gonna give me the hydration that I need. Why do I need to wear moisturizers? So, in my head, I didn't wear any moisturizers for a couple of months and it just made my skin even more oily. And I didn't know or I didn't understand fully what the issue was. I just thought because I was an oily person, this is just how it's going to be. I just have to find different ways to cope with it. So I started carrying around little tissue, the little tissue packs that parents give their kids, little tissue to carry in their backpack or something like that. I would bring it in all my purses, my car, everywhere at my job. I would just make sure that I stack up on it. So whenever I went to the restroom, I would just, dab myself, whatever. When I'm home, definitely dab myself. I started washing my face like 4 or 5 times a day. And it just, I got so accustomed to it that I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. I just felt like this is just my skin, you know? I just thought this is the way it was going to be forever and it was going to probably get worse before it gets better or it gets never get better, just keep getting worse. But this is the expectation that I had for myself that I was going to have to just cope and just deal with it and just keep going. So I started researching and I found out there's a lot of benefits to having oily skin. I started researching more and I was like, okay, there has to be some kind of hack to this. Why am I not, why can't I wear a good amount of foundation, a good amount of full face makeup without looking like a grease ball? Especially if you're going on a date or something, it's embarrassing, period. It's just everything, and I just don't want to have to deal with the excessive amount of oils every single time I go out. I'm thinking about it in the back of my head. Are they listening to me? Or are they looking at me like, girl, you need to check that? Something like that. You know what I mean? So I just knew that I had to get everything intact and I started doing more research. So I went on YouTube and I started searching oily skin foundation routines, oily skin primers, everyday oily skin foundation routine, skincare, everything. It was So most of the YouTubers that I saw with the oily skin titles and oily skin foundation routines, oily skin or a full matte face routine, all those things were not oily skin at all. No, they were more so oily combination skin. They weren't oily skin to me at least because I know the amount of oils that I produce and I'm genuinely looking for a resolution to help me. And they're saying, okay, oily skin, oily skin. No, sis, you have oily combination, not oily skin. So I didn't find any resolution there. So then I heard on the TV, I forgot what I was watching, but they were saying basically that you still have to moisturize when you have oily skin because your skin overcompensate for the missing hydration of the moisturizer, which is why you produce an excessive amount of oils than you would normally do on a regular basis. And then it was like ding 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 ding, like, okay, that makes sense, you know, because the most oils that I've produced were during the time that I was not using moisturizers. And at the time, I couldn't figure it out why. I didn't understand. So now this makes sense. This makes a lot of sense. So I would just wash my face, do my toner like usual, everything like that, but I would skip the moisturizing part. And because of that, my skin still needed that hydration, even though I'm an oily girl. So my skin was overcompensating for that and pushing out more oil. It was just like, all right, there you go, sis. So that made a lot of sense. And I went hunting for moisturizers. So coming in at number 3 for my top 3 moisturizers for oily skin is the Neutrogena Hydra Boost Water Gel with hyaluronic acid for dry skin. I want y'all to soak that in for a second for dry skin. So, is it soaked in? Yeah? Okay. So when I first got this, I got this from Missy Lynn on YouTube. She's my favorite OG on YouTube, and she had a meet and greet in Miami, and I live in Florida. So I, had to go see her. I was excited. So I packed up, bought that VIP ticket, and went to go see her. And she had, for the VIP members, she had some goodie bags. So this was in one of the goodie bags. And I was like, all right, I've had this for years, probably like a year or two before I used it. I never opened it or anything. I just had it. So I was like, all right, I have this moisturizer. It can't help. It can't hurt, So I decided to use it, and the consistency was like a water gel, like it says, and it wasn't sticky. It felt refreshing. You know what I mean? And I'm guessing that's because it's for dry skin. I would put this on, and I would do it before my foundation and before my entire makeup look. And this actually worked, controlling my oil. My oil level went from not being excessive but still being there, if that makes sense. So I still had to blot, but instead of blotting like every 2-3 hours now, I would blot probably like 5.5, 6 hours later. So this actually helped a lot. So coming in at number 2 is the Ordinary Natural Moisturizing Factors plus AH. And this one I actually just started like a month ago. And this whole line I started a month ago. And this moisturizer actually helps so much. And the consistency with this one is not as watery or jelly like the Hydro Boost. This is more of a thick cream. This is more of like a cream, like a face cream. And another disclaimer, besides my oily skin, I sweat a lot. So I'm an oily girl and I'm a sweater. I don't know if those are probably the 2 worst combinations ever, but I have oily skin and I sweat a lot. So go figure. And the first place that I sweat every single time is right here. So I get a sweat stash every time. If I'm nervous, if I'm hot, if I'm excited, I just sweat here a lot. So the only con for this moisturizer is that my sweat stash comes up. As soon as I put this moisturizer on my face, I'm starting to sweat right here. So I think it's because the consistency is so creamy and so buttery and so thick that my body automatically just start to sweat, But the sweat goes away within like 10 seconds. It's just I feel myself starting to sweat and then it just goes away. But besides that, this moisturizer is the bomb. So coming in at number 1. Number 1, my number 1 favorite oily skin moisturizer is the Neutrogena Smooth and Clear Turmeric Oil-Free Gel Moisturizer. Alright, so how I found out about this one was like what we call like a book up. So I'm in Walgreens on my phone with Google for about a good 30 minutes, 40 minutes just researching before I purchase, because y'all know Walgreens is not cheap. So before I buy it, I just want to make sure that, you know, the benefits is for what I'm looking for. So I looked it up and they had a whole line. If you are an oily person, 9 out of 10 times you have acne prone skin, regardless of if you want to admit that or not. Accept the fact that you have oily, acne prone skin. Your life will be better, I promise you. So so it says that turmeric has common properties and its lightweight formula absorbs completely to nourish and comfort skin all day long, which it does. It does. It's lightweight, it's oil free, and it does not clog your pores. So just to recap, if you're oily skin, keep your skin hydrated still. Do not neglect hydration into your skin. Your skin will overcompensate for the hydration that it's missing by producing more oils. And at that point, you just gotta figure it out, sis. You just gotta figure it out. Again, it's the Neutrogena Hydro Boost, the Ordinary Natural Moisturizer Plus AH. And then the number 1 is the Neutrogena Turmeric Collection, the oil-free moisturizer for oily and acne-prone skin. And accept the fact that if you're oily skin, you're more than likely acne-prone skin as well. Regardless of if you had a full face of makeup, regardless of if you had just mascara on, anything, if you had no makeup on, do not go to sleep without washing your face. Do not go to sleep without washing your face. Do not go to sleep without washing your face. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment down below and let me know if there's any moisturizers that I'm not aware of. These are just the ones that I've used and that works for me. And I'll definitely take any suggestions and try them out and review them. So please let me know. Give me a big thumbs up. Hit that red subscribe button so we can all be a family. And I will see you next week on another video. Bye.